Here's the next go. So then they put policies in place. They have a single price. If you got the leads for us, and they start changing things as they can. How do you fix this problem, guys? Here's how the problem can be fixed. Number one, I'm going to talk about the Bill of Rights for you guys when I get done. As somebody who loves the your body, and I have a vested interest in this, you'll see, but it's a slight vested interest. It's more my passion. The first thing you need to do is insist your providers do not do pre-select. If you are buying from somebody who pre-selects, I strongly suggest you cancel the contract. That's it. If you're going to pre-select, if you're going to send my customers 5 dealers, and they can request one of those 5 dealers, you don't have to do business with me. There's too many other choices out there. The next thing I would suggest, and this is going to be in the first Bill of Rights, is it's time for you to insist that every lead you buy, you're told the source. If it comes from an OEM or an aggregator. The biggest people in the industry taking advantage of you right now are the ones you should trust the most. They're the brands that a lot of you are doing business with, representing the marketplace. They are the ones that are taking the biggest advantage of you. And they're using this as a profit center, shipping more and more out. You guys know this, right? So if you know the source, number one, if you insist, I want the source. And number two, I want the right to reject any source I'm dissatisfied with. If this is the source of these leads, and I've gotten 100 of them and sold 0 cars for trucks, I no longer want this source. I'm not paying $20 for losing that source. That's obviously a cured pipe source that you're jamming down my throat. By the way, interesting thing about cured pipe sources, I didn't know this, is that those cured pipe sources also do have some good leads in them. Okay? But who wants to pay $20 a lead that can sell 150 leads? Doesn't make sense. We know what the cost of that is actually. It goes well beyond financial implications. So, how do you get that word through? How do you get that word through? And I want you to be aware of something. Okay, so have been an OEM guy. There's one thing OEM guys fear, and that's the dealer council. Okay? Because, and really, you try to be partners to go around it. You have a voice. This is what's going on. This is worth you at a brand you're at, challenging your brand to see if that's what's happening to you and making your dealership work. If you have a slide, I'll take a call from anybody in the country, anytime. And they need to express their concern to their dealer council rep and say, we have had enough. And we're not going to take it anymore. And with some OEMs, this problem is beyond comprehension. With others, there are other OEMs that protect you guys like you're your partners. Same with aggregators. Some are one way, some are another. But this practice exists, and it's something that everybody in the retail industry should be aware of and recognize. So what you do, you insist upon one supplier, no pre-selected leads, and you insist that you get the right to line out a veto any supplier you want that's not meeting your needs and as well. Those are a couple of rights we'll come back to in a few minutes. And the way you get the word out is you get your dealers to understand this. You have them contact the rep of the dealer council, and you have your dealer council bring this issue up with the key leadership of the OEMs. Okay? Because here's what's going on. These things are being done at middle management level with OEMs. If the senior management was aware of it and they knew it was a major issue with their dealers, they would change the process overnight. Because for the $10, $15 million a year they're making on your back, it's not what the problem is. Okay? They would change the process overnight. But your dealer council needs to become localized. If this came up with, if this came up in our era, that's what would happen. We would change it instantly. It's the way Stanley is today. But the dealers have got to admit it. Here's what's going on in the third-party industry. Okay, this is the overall industry. This is not necessarily a third-party lead you're buying, and certainly not any individual supplier. This is not all about Telescope's ratio here. Okay, yours are true cars. They're significantly high. But the industry overall has gone down to this level. You take the third-party leads that are out there, you put them together, and some OEMs have told me in presentations I'm making at their business that is exactly the close rate of the leads they're sending their dealers. And I'm talking about thousands of dealers at a time, not just a few. This close rate has gone down, 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 and it's all been in the spirit of trying to build more and more revenue for those particular clients. So this is what's happening. So let's talk about the cost here. What's the cost to you guys for this? First of all, it's not just $1 per sale, right? It's not just a financial hit that you guys take for this. The cost is here. The cost is that your team gets distracted, right? They get taken off their game to work leads that have no promise at all. Then, this is where the real insult comes in. Then you get told by the OEM, you have 1 hour to contact the customer, and if you don't do it correctly, you're not going to get your customer satisfaction money. So what happens is this. These people are creatures they have. Now you guys are here because you're the best, I know that. But I'm talking about your viewers in America. A lot of times, I was talking to somebody one day that had 75 phone calls a day in one day from a dealership. And the problem he had is getting anybody in his team to follow on the customers because they knew who the lead was. And I forgot, I should go back. There's one other thing I forgot, it's very important one that needs to be talked about. So we have to close rate here in a second. You never see these close rates. And this is a very important point. The reason you never see these close rates is your OEMs. Now, your aggregators don't have access to this information, so in this case, it's just the OEMs. What they do, anything they publish to you, they number one, manipulate the close rate, and I'll show you how in a second. But number two, they combine the third-party close rates with their organic lead close rates. So in one bucket, you've got organic leads that come from the OEM Tier 1 website. In the other bucket, you have Tier 3 leads, okay, that they bought from a variety of sources. And then they combine the close rate, and they advertise the lead close rate here. Well, if you said, look, I'll take out 20% of those leads you got, okay, I actually want those 2% of those leads, or less, then you can run your business better. Because then your people wouldn't get distracted, they wouldn't be developing bad habits that you follow, right? And you wouldn't have as many turnover issues as you face today, right? And your satisfaction levels would be better. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Everybody would be so honest?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so here's the next thing that is troubling to me that I want to call your attention to, is that it's the moving ball